the hardest thing that it is for people to realize, I'm just keeping it 100, is that nobody is going to come save you. Okay? I'm going to talk about my experiences on what it was like for me being a boy and growing up and becoming a man. I'm going to keep it just 100 with y'all. Okay? I can't speak upon anything else other than what I experienced in life. And I'm hoping that you'll actually listen to it and it'll inspire you to think about life a little differently. See, everyone comes from different walks of life. Some more fortunate than others. Some more poor than others. See, when I was young, I had already experienced 2 deaths before I was 10. Okay? My grandpa and my brother. Alright? And it really sucked having to see, my grandpa's health just decline because he ended up developing Alzheimer's. So that was a slow, painful just experience to have to watch someone regress, in their life. My brother, unfortunately, he passed away when I was real young. My dad was in jail, so he wasn't really around when, he wasn't around. My mom just couldn't really help support me at the time, so I had to go stay at my grandma's house. My sister was just in and out the house, going through just a mental health crisis, couldn't really be there for me. So had to figure out a way. My uncle, he died real young from cancer. He was my favorite uncle. I'll never forget him. He died very young from cancer. And I'm gonna just be real with y'all, okay? Nobody is coming to save you, alright? Nobody came over to me and was ever asking me how I was doing. They weren't asking me how I felt about everything. Nobody really asked me that stuff when I was real young, experiencing all of this stuff. I mean, at all. I didn't even know that, people really talked about that kind of stuff, to be honest. I thought it was just, you just don't talk about it or something, because nobody was talking to me about it. I've experienced many things in life, especially racism. That was a big thing too, because I grew up in the 90s. I remember I got jumped by 2 white kids. They kicked me when I was on the ground. I used to be real small, like real small and skinny. I was soft too. They jumped me, called me the hard ER and everything. I don't hate white people though. I don't blame. See, I'm not the kind of person that blames all of a race because of, certain mishaps. Doesn't mean that you should hate people. So, what do you do when, you lose your brother, your best friend at a young age? You lose your grandpa, someone you look up to. You lose your uncle, someone that you look up to. Your dad's in jail. Your sister's not around. Mom's always at work or whatever, doing stuff like, what do you do in those situations when no one's around to help you? I'll tell you what I did. I never gave up. There are many times when I slipped, fell off the path, was going astray a little bit, but all in all, I never gave up. See, I ended up finding family in the friends that I made when I was growing up. Even up until this day. Because I'm just not really close to my family like that. See, when I was going through some of the worst times of my life, there was none of my... They were not around. Okay? My friends were around, though. But a lot of my family just wasn't around. And that's just the unfortunate reality on how it is for a lot of people that I think a lot of people just don't really understand. See, when you don't have someone that you can go to and you don't have a support system, you have every reason to give up. I don't blame you. I just knew that couldn't be me. Okay? See, I knew that I had to grow up. I had no other choice but to grow up fast because there was just nobody there that could really help me out. So I had to figure out something to do. And I just knew I had to become something, you know? I didn't know what it was. I just knew I had to become better than what I was and where I was at, and I was going to do anything to get out of it. That was just what I chose. That was my mindset going into everything, and that was how I just envisioned things, right? I had a vision that there could be this better life because, you know, I'd be stuck in the house a lot of times. So I just had, the only thing I could really do was just, read and play some video games and stuff. And when I would play those video games or watch some anime, and I would get a lot of inspiration from that. Seeing people just go from, the depths, Rocky was one of my favorite movies growing up too. And it was just like seeing people just grow up in the ghetto, just, not really having anybody, no support system, but they still just made something out of themselves and they still made it out of life. See, I just had that vision for me. I wanted that. Okay. I would hang out with my friends, and that's when I really saw that life could be different, right? I grew up in a really small apartment, but I had a lot of cool friends. And a lot of my good friends, right, they lived in some nice houses. I'd come over. They had like these 2-story houses, and they just had a lot of space. Families would get together, have a lot of fun. They'd be like supporting their kids and stuff, and it was nice to see. They had nice cars, they had nice things in their house, and just a lot of stuff that I just didn't really have. And I wanted things like that. I didn't know how. I remember one of them was in the military, and then I remember that different parts of my family was in the military. And, I didn't get the best grades in school, so I went off to the military. I went there for 6 years, and I did multiple deployments overseas. And when I was on those deployments, I really started to see and understand just how cruel the world really is. Even though I already knew how cruel the world was when I was just a kid. But I really saw it in 4K, 8K, whatever you want to call it. I really saw it when I was overseas, especially over in Africa. Okay? See, somebody always has it worse than you do. Even me. All the stuff that I just told you. Someone's always got it worse. Which is why you just can't I understand that, a lot of people, like, the world revolves around you and everything, but it's just, someone always has it worse. For real. They really do. As surprising as it may seem, whatever that you're going on in life, I can almost guarantee you that someone else is having a worse day than you are. Okay? Especially if you're just able to watch this video. So, anyways, what I'm just trying to say, though, is that I was born into a bunch of chaos. I grew up in chaos. Family just fighting all the time. not really supporting each other, being mean and rude to each other. And then when I, grew up and went out, seeing just how cruel the world really is, I also got a chance to see just how kind the world is. See, I was able to really find a lot of peace for the first time when I was in Thailand. That was the first time where I really started to gain some peace. And I'm really thankful for my experience there and being able to live there and everything for a short time. But, yeah. You see, along the way, I had every reason to quit. I had every reason to be evil. I had every reason to just, not to just stay in an environment like that and just accept life. But I wasn't gonna accept that. See, to me, that's what being a man is all about. It's understanding that there's not always gonna be someone, like, no one's coming to save you, okay? Especially as a man. No one is gonna come see, they're not coming to save you. Sure, people might feel bad for you, but they're not gonna fix your problems or anything. See, a lot of the people that I looked up to, I always admired how, they were like strong and how they were able to just get through life, especially superheroes. Spider-Man was like one of my favorite superheroes because, he was one of those that he grew up in the ghetto and everything, and he didn't have it all super nice, and people picked on him and everything. And then, what happened? He got his superpowers, right? And then he became strong. He was funny, likable, all that other stuff. And, I just had to keep picking different pieces of people. And even if they were things that weren't real, it was just, I had to just keep taking different parts of it that, I wanted to be like and embody in my life. Because I was able to see that life could get better because of the friends that I had, and I got a chance to be around different people who, were able to like open my mind up. You see, I remember the first time I went to the snow, I was with my best friend, and I'm so thankful for his family. They're one of the reasons why I'm here today, working where I'm at today. Man, they just said, hey, just bring a coat and everything, and we'll pay for everything else. And I'm like, pay for everything else? Like, I just gotta show up? Like, I don't have to, I was like 14 or something at the time. Just like, yeah, just bring your coat and everything. And I'm just like, all right. Bro, we went snowboard. They paid for the lessons, the snowboarding lessons, the lodging at the Hilton. At the time, that was the nicest place I'd ever seen. Nicest hotel I'd ever stayed in at the time. At the Hilton. When we were in the car just driving, we weren't just listening to music or whatever. It was my best friend's niece. Long story, I don't want to explain it, but anyways, his niece and nephew were older than him. His niece was like educating us in the car, asking us like questions. It was the first time where someone was like asking me like educational questions on just different material that I just never heard of before. And I was just like, this is just how people talk? Like, you just get to be around this all the time? Because I was wondering how come my friend was like, he was pretty smart. And I was wondering how he was, pretty smart. And then I got a chance to hang around his family, and I was just like, they're just over here just educating them up. And then, they would just treat us like adults. It was like one of the first times when I was just like, wow, they're just treating us like we're just, they're not treating us like we're just some kids or anything. They just treat us like them, They were, I think, in like their mid-20s or something at the time or whatever. But yeah, they were some of the smartest people that I was ever around. One was a ICU nurse. The other one was, I think she was like a scientist or something. But either way, I was just really admired by them, Like, they didn't treat me any different. They inspired me to want to become, smarter and like make something out of myself, get an education. And, you know, fast forward to now, that's what I did. You know? And now I work for the same, like, you know, company as the nephew. And he didn't get me the job here. I got this job myself through, you know, one of my friends that I had networked with before. But, you know, I didn't even ask him. No reference or nothing. I just ended up at the same spot, you know? But that's because that's what I wanted. Okay? So, let me just reel it in for why I just never gave up. Because that vision is powerful. Okay? When you get a chance to be in a different environment that's healthy for you, man, whew, you don't even understand how game-changing that is, coming from someone who came out of poverty that didn't have shit growing up. Like, that was everything to me. See, a lot of people take that stuff for granted. I knew the life that I never wanted to return back to, and I was going to do whatever I had to do to never return back to it. And one of my goals was to be like, you know, one of my uncles. He was, you know, he was the man that I wanted to be like. He would stand his ground. He would, you know, he was good with people. You know, a lot of ladies liked him. He was just an all-around cool guy, you know. And then there were others as well that, other like family friends that I would call uncle, that helped out a lot too. But, you know, it was just, I wanted to be like that. I wanted to become what it was. I wanted to know what it was to become a man. And that's a part of what it was. It's being able to, you know, when everything is telling you not to go do something and you have every reason to not go do it, but you still get up and do it anyway. It's called putting your purpose over your feelings. That's what I had to do. When I would feel sad about things and nobody would talk to me about it, I had no one to talk to when I was a kid. That's what I did. I put my purpose over my feelings. I'm gonna do this regardless of how I feel, because I want a better life. And I don't want to ever have to experience that again. I don't want to go back to empty fridges. I don't want to go back to toxic households. I don't want to be around toxic family members. I don't want to, you know, I want better for me. So that way, you know, I can create a better environment for me, so that way I can help out people that I've always wanted to help out, and repay people that have done so much for me. You know, it's like, you gotta want it for yourself. Okay? I can't talk about what it's like being a girl or anything else in between or whatever. I just only talk about what it's like being a man. And if you want to be a man, you gotta want it for yourself. You gotta want it more than how you feel. You gotta know that what you're doing it for is greater than just how you feel in the moment. See, having that purpose and having a reason for that purpose, that will take you so far. I went from making like $7 or whatever it was, $6 or whatever. I think it was $5 at the time. I was working before it was even legal. I went from making just like $5 an hour to over, you know, I'm making more money now, okay? I mean, not single digits, not double digits. It's in the 3 digits now. So how does someone go from making $5 an hour to over 3 digits an hour? How does someone do that? That got it out the mud and everything. I'll tell you how. Keep watching my videos and I'll keep telling you how. I hope that makes sense. And I hope that you want to sit and think about some of the things that I just talked to you about, okay? See, if you come here to my channel and you watch me, I'm going to give you a ton of free game. Because I want you to do better in life. I don't want you to have to go through things that I had to go through. I'm here if you need to talk. Anyways, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm going to be making a lot more videos this year just about self-development. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff about men's personal development, because I can speak on a lot of that now. And I'm just going to be putting out a bunch of content that's good for everybody to watch too still, okay? But I'm only going to talk about things that I can talk about that I've experienced. I'm not going to talk about things that I don't know about and just give you some BS, all right? Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I got to head back to work. I hope this video leads you to other videos and channels and other people that are good for you in your life. And I hope those videos bless you as well. Thanks for tuning in to here and sitting here with me at this table. And I hope that y'all have a good one, all right? Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. If not, stay blessed. You got this.